Okay, wait, I need my microphone. Hello and welcome to Moonbeing Mondays, the first episode of this new series that I'm starting. And every week I'm going to be featuring a special guest. And this week, please give a warm welcome to my special guest, Luna. She is a makeup artist and an advocate, also one of my good friends here in New York City. Luna, how long have you been in New York for?
I have been here for 8.5, almost 9 years.
So I think that's legit. So this week, we're going to be definitely talking about what's like our experiences at the Inauguration Protest last Friday, a little bit about all the crazy shit that has been going on the last week, and really quick, I would like to start off with what I'm wearing. I call this outfit an ode to the last moments and yonder years of free society. Luna? To the last moments and yonder years of free society. Oh, 90s, how I barely remember you. I blacked out so much of you due to the mass brainwashings and mind rape of the great religion and religious ways that I grew up with. But I do remember some moments, lots of Disney and movies, Disney movies, G-rated movies, that really, and just the time and just like frozen pizzas, the times before we all knew about processed food and chicken fingers, and down to the high school days where I was able to, experience the normal high school traumas in these last moments of free society. And, I never appreciated it enough in those moments. And now, looking to the dawn of these last moments of free speech and our civil rights, I now can say, I'm sorry, past, and I appreciate what I can remember of those innocent times. Luna?
An ode to the 90s and the catfishing on Yahoo Chat.
Yes.
The endless summer nights where you would just go up on your roof and
Sneaking out windows,
staying out till 2 o'clock in the morning, just playing tag with your fellow neighbors. And an ode to the freedom to write whatever the fuck you want to write on your MySpace page.
Choosing your top 8 how you want to.
Yes. And an ode to that emo grunge period that everyone experienced. Back to you, Indica.
Thank you, Luna. Couldn't have said it better myself. All right, so let's just continue with. Let's just get right to our experiences at the Inauguration Protest. Just from the beginning of the day to like standing in that line to go through security for 3.5 hours.
Right, and mind you, we were not even the people. Like, we got there at 7 o'clock.
7 a.m. Maybe even a few moments sooner.
Yeah, and we were on the first block, like halfway to the checking point. And literally, it took 3.5 hours to move about, I want to say, like, no more than 100 yards, to be honest.
Oh my God, yes.
Like, 3.5 hours.
That was torture.
Like, it was crazy. And honestly, there were moments where they were like, oh, this gate is closing, you'll have to go to the other entrance, that they still have a checkpoint. We were, like, people were leaving, protesters. And I think that it was all due to, like, Secret Service trying not to allow the protesters to enter where we were going to be protesting, because they didn't want to see that kind of support for the anti-Trump movement and just, fuck Trump, essentially.
Quickly learning just about how, like, Trump could be and or is fucking with our civil liberties and our civil rights is that all those people were there to peacefully protest. Like, you're in that line, you're there to peacefully protest, you're going through a security checkpoint, they took her umbrella.
Mind you, the organization that we went with, which is Answer Coalition, you can check them out at answercoalition.org. They paid $20,000.
Really?
In order
for just permits or for the stage too? Okay.
For permits and the stage.
Okay.
For the permits for us to be there and protest, so that we were less likely to be arrested, and because if a bunch of people, because we were thousands and thousands and thousands of people that were trying to get in, if we didn't have a permit, it was very likely that things could have been riled up. And
which there were in places, but that was outside of the security checkpoint. Like, that was in the streets going on,
right.
Not not in where the inauguration was legally able to happen. And like, they're just trying to hold up all of these people from, make it seem like we weren't there. Mm-hmm. They try to, just like days before, I believe, like, say the media could not broadcast what we were doing because they want to make it seem like we weren't there. And then, even more, they were trying to tell the Answer Coalition that they couldn't set up a stage on public property and peacefully protest, which is all a part of our rights, and freedom of speech and freedom of press is in the First Amendment. And to say, like, we can't do that because we weren't the Trump supporters, like, again, it's against our civil liberties. And, it was the beginning of what made me, everything seemed really real for me and afraid for what all Trump is actually going to do.
It was definitely undermining, like, all of our liberties, because I feel like freedom of speech is part of the groundwork for democracy. Mm-hmm. And it was definitely undermining democracy.
One of the things of that day, though, and I sat pretty much front and center in front of the protest stage the whole time, was that I was really happy to learn was that they weren't, all different kinds of groups went up, and minority groups, people from all over the world, to say their piece, and what they were advocating was, not like I've said, like, on social media, like, they weren't advocating, like, oh, the Russians, or, like, oh, boo, like, Hillary should have won because of also this, blah, blah, blah. Like, no, they were saying democracy has failed us. The system has not been working. It's an old system, like, even the Electoral College and the popular vote and all this crap, and just, like, we need revolutionary politics. We need to start our own underground grassroots movement. One of the last classes I took in college was about mass media and politics and how they all play in together, and why so many American citizens just don't even watch news anymore. And because it's easy to just think it's all, like, you don't know who to trust, you don't know who's telling the truth or what's a lie, and especially if you're biased to a political party, like, you just think that, for the most part, the other party is lying based on what, side that media station portrays.
Right, they're gonna wash and clean whatever the news is, whatever happened that day, they're gonna wash it to line up to their views, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's why so many people, kind of watch what they want to watch, because it goes along with their views too. That's why so many Trump supporters, instead of watching, like, news that is a little bit more unbiased, watches more like Fox News, who is completely, like, more towards the right, and they're the ones that are, like, painting a picture of this and this and that, but when it's really not at all that.
Yeah. So. And I know people who are more conservative Republican, like Fox News is their only savior, and all other liberal, all the other media is liberal, and it's all just like, and it's just like, the news is not, for the most part, unless you know a news program that you support is like donation based or completely like corporation agenda free. The news now is all owned by mass corporations, and we live in a capitalist society, so they all are in it to make a profit. They're not in it anymore just to like make sure that people get the news like they did back in the early 1900s. Like, no, everything is it is different now, and we were also told at the protest, they're like, I can guarantee whatever, maybe just even little spats of violence there will be associated with today, that's what the press is going to report on. And lo and behold, when we left, that's exactly what happened. Like, whatever you saw on social media or in the news that day was just like, oh, this anarchist group, like, they did this, which was, a bit more severe and shocking than people are used to. But that had nothing to do with the protests that were going on beyond that security checkpoint. Like, I didn't see one act of violence, and none of that was portrayed in the media because they all wanted to make it seem like, oh, the anti-Trump supporters, they like got out and they were violent, they were animals, like blah blah blah. And when that's just like, that is something that of course like it happened, but that's not remotely the bigger picture. And something good to keep in the back of your minds is that news is mostly trying to sell. I also have another radio station that you can streamline that I was talking to one of the guests at our restaurant the other day that gave me an donation-based radio station here in New York. I will write it in the caption below. It's 99.5 WBAI.org. I believe you can also stream their information from that website. We'll look more into that for you. And yeah, just what has happened since the inauguration and since like everyone coming together and yes, being historic and like marching together for women's rights. I got personally really the most sick I've been in years for a few days, so I kind of fell off, but seeing, it seems like the aftermath of all those protests and marching, like that's just egged Trump on more. And, I think one problem is that we've been underestimating Trump this whole time. And, I guess it's been said, he's said supposedly like, oh, this is just going to be like a part-time job for me, ha 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 ha. And now apparently he's taking it very seriously because it's like something every day. He's doing some crazy shit, like trying to enact some new law, some new ban. And honestly, I've personally started becoming depressed just waking up, and because it's already
knowing what new executive orders he has signed is like depressing.
So personally, I think why protesting and marching did actually resonate with so many people to take part of was because it's very like action based. You have to be present for it in that moment, and like I said, with news being false, you don't know what to trust or who to trust. Falling back to like being present, the Answer Coalition that we've been mentioning, they hold, if you're in New York City, they are based in some other major cities too. They do hold meetings every Friday night, and one way that I personally am going to counteract just like this feeling of, every day, like you see your friends posting like, you can call this senator, you can call this person. I'm absolutely not telling you to not do those things, but if you feel like you're kind of getting lost in it all, go to the answercoalition.org website. I know that they have meetings every Friday. They have one next Friday, February 3rd. It's in East Harlem, and where, you know, you can be present and talk about the next steps of what we're going to do in this grassroots movement to help to just stop all of this crazy shit that's going on and the next steps and go from there. Because right now, like, all this is happening overnight and it's very real, and to not lose sight of taking care of ourselves, and then so we can help take care of one another, because we're all in this together. So we will be back for featuring more. I will be interviewing Luna more and asking her more questions about her artistry and her experiences being a young artist here in New York City, as I will be featuring different guests every week. And so she will be back soon, and we're just getting started with this series. And I hope getting anything out of being here today and watching this, and that you feel like you have more knowledge and more support than you did before. That's just gonna wrap it up for today. Thank you for tuning in and being the little star that you are. And thank you again, Luna, so much for joining me this week. And stay tuned for more updates and more fun times, guys. We're just getting started. Okay, thank you.